All right, gentlemen, with this one right here, we are going to be on the sniper, and we're going to be getting into our last Fusil build for siege mode. So this is about pushing the highest modes of siege waves with this gun in the harder difficulties, and then obviously this is going to work for normal and everything else as well. So when we're looking at our last Fusil, you are going to use some different techniques overall with the gun to get your shots off, and we will go through that later on in the video. But first up, we're going to take a look at our perks and really get into why we're taking each one. So when it comes to our prestige perks, if you want a more in-depth on the prestige perks, I do have a video on that on my channel. So quickly, for the prestige perks, you are taking Versatile Precision, we are taking Conviction, Emperor's Grace, and we are taking Material Upgrade. All right, so when we're moving up to our core perks here, we are grabbing both of our melee perks because you're going to get stuck in melee with this weapon in the higher waves. It's inevitable. So you're going to want both of these perks because you're going to lack close range with this weapon. So that will help you out a lot. And taking advantage of this 2 seconds to stand stationary is very, very hard in higher waves, guys. So I really do suggest, I think this will give you a lot more damage. And then we're going lethal efficiency to keep our ammo up on the last Fusil. And then we have squad renewal, and we are taking purification to restore our health with our camo cloak, and we're going to be able to keep our camo cloak up very easily. Like I said, we'll go into that a little later in the video. And then we have targeted shot. We're going to take advantage of this sometimes, but not as much as normal, and we will discuss that later in the video as well. And then we have lingering concealment. You're pairing up lingering concealment and Emperor's Grace. Now, the reason you're pairing these two up, even with the last Fusil, is because this gives you the advantage of being able to move around the map without being seen, grab positioning, and even more importantly, find yourself into deep in the middle of heavy mobs, drop melta-bombs, cloak your way back out, and really blow up a lot of enemies. So that is why that is very important. And then you are going to want performing 3 consecutive headshots to restore equipment charge by 1 cooldown. So how I usually take advantage of this if I want to get my melta fast is I will switch over to my heavy bolt pistol, and I will pop off 3 shots on a close major enemy. So if somebody is close to me, they're attacking me, I get a parry off or whatever I do, I'm going to go with my bolt, my bolt pistol, and just fire off 3 headshots as fast as I can. That will allow you to grab the 3 consecutive headshots faster than you will most likely with the last Fusil, because if you miss 1 headshot, obviously it's going to reset and then you have to do it all over again. So I found the heavy bolt pistol to be the best to refill my nades in this build overall. All right, and when we're looking at the last Fusil a little closer itself here, we are going to be taking the ammo version. Highly suggest the ammo version. It's even with the ammo version, guys, I'm not going to lie, it is hard to keep your ammo up. It's just hard. It's hard to keep your ammo up in siege mode, and you're going to have to switch to your secondary a lot and really take advantage of working up your ammo on your last Fusil with your secondary weapon. And the way we are speccing this out a little different than normally, we are losing some headshot damage, but we're gaining a bunch of radius on our shots due to the fact that everything is so grouped up. You're going to want to grab as many hits as you can per single shot. And another thing we're doing is we're making sure we're grabbing at least 40% extra ammo. So I know the 60% would be nice, but having this weapon charge at another 15% is very, very important, and it does end up helping a lot throughout the operations. So this is the route that I've been running, guys. It feels pretty nice, and as I said, having the 40% extra ammo and having this increased blast radius does help out throughout the waves there. And then when we're looking at our secondary here, we are going with our heavy bolt pistol, and we are speccing it out in this way right here. So you're going to be able to go in and out of your cloak constantly, so you're always going to be taking advantage of the 20% for 10 seconds, and then you're just going to have your 20% headshot damage added on right here. So this is what I like to set mine up for siege mode, and I am even grabbing the I'm grabbing penetrating shots basically on every bolt weapon there is, even if it's not a fast firing weapon, just because the odds of you hitting multiple enemies in siege mode is very, very high, guys, and it's going to go through and it's going to hit something else. So that's why I highly recommend that one as well. And then the combat knife, you are really running this however you want. You're going to take the blocking version or the fencing version here, and then we are running with shoulder bash and shadow stab. Now, personally, if I was going to drop one of these combos, I would drop shadow stab. I don't find it as good as it used to be, obviously, because it does not break your cloak instantly anymore. There are some different techniques to use this. I'll kind of get in that too in a different video, but it's not as powerful as it used to be. So I do suggest shoulder bash because I think this is one of the better ways to break your cloak. Yeah, I just like this to break my cloak a lot. So, and then I'm going to get into that when we're talking about the Las Fusil right here and just some of the new techniques you're kind of going to want to use when you're using this weapon. Okay, so we're going to look at some just some different ways that you're going to want to use the Las Fusil, definitely when it comes to siege mode here. So one of the most important things is really just trying to keep your cloak up as much as you can. And the problem is watch, when I cloak and then I fire my Las Fusil, how long it takes to break my cloak. And then you're going to end up with that. That's something that you really are not looking for in the higher waves of siege mode. This much time without your cloak is probably going to get you killed. That's why I said you're not really going to take advantage of the 75% damage one too much. You'll take advantage of it sometimes. That's why we're still taking it. But a lot of the times, this is how you're going to want to fire your Las Fusil. You're going to want to cloak, go into your shoulder bash, break your cloak with that, and then go into firing your Las Fusil. So it's going to look like this. You're going to dive, cloak, shoulder bash, Las Fusil shot, and then right when you get your shot off, you should be coming out of your cloak, and your cloak should be popping back up. So that's the way you're going to keep your cloak up, and that's the way you're going to be able to continuously refill your contested health as well. So you're going to want to, either whatever you're doing, you're going to want to break it with your melee, and then even if it's just a swing, and then go into your shot. Now, I think the shoulder bash does break it a little quicker. I think they break it in the same time, but the shoulder bash allows you to get into your shot with your Las Fusil a little faster, so you are usually shooting while you're still cloaked. Like, we'll go there. And then as you've seen, I got it shot off while I was, I'm still cloaked. So, and then you got your cloak right back. So that is going to be the most efficient way, guys, to run in the higher tiers. You're not going to want to break with the Las Fusil because it is just going to eat too much of your cloak away that you're really going to want and need. You're going to want it for contested health. You're going to want it for all kinds of things. So this is what you're doing. Melee your cloak, break it, go straight into your shot. So that is really what you're going to want to practice. And I'm telling you, when you get into the higher waves, that is the way that is going to allow you to survive and really keep you moving to the next wave, you know, beyond like 15 and 20 and things like that. All right, so hopefully that can help out a little bit. And just overall, guys, you're going to take advantage of this just until you can't anymore. So that's why you're still taking targeted shot. So I know I just told you you're going to want to break your cloak with your melee and then go straight into your Las Fusil. You're going to kind of see the waves when you're going to have to start taking advantage of that technique that I showed you. So while you can take advantage of targeted shot, and when you can, you will take advantage of this because it is going to add a ton of extra damage, and that's why we're taking it on the class. But overall, eventually, you're going to probably have to switch over to the technique that I showed, really go in and out of your cloak, fire that way, and then, you know, move your positioning and different things like that. Because keeping your cloak up in the higher waves, especially when it's refilling your contested health in this way, is going to be very, very helpful for you. So just keep that in mind. And when it comes to the build, like just overall on the sniper in siege mode, personally, I found the bolt carbine to be his best weapon running through siege mode. Now, with that being said, the bolt carbine is the weapon that I have the most time with personally in the game on the sniper. So that could honestly be playing a big role into it as well. So I'm still able to push high with this weapon, and I think people that main this weapon, like have been maining this since the beginning, they're probably even going to be better than me with this weapon, and they will even push further. And I think this build is going to help out do that, and I think the technique that I showed with breaking your cloak with your melee is definitely going to end up helping out a lot. So guys, I really do appreciate you checking out this video. I got a lot more coming out, and I will catch you on the next one.